Hi everyone and welcome to another recipe video, and this week I'm making these sparkly galaxy chocolates with a mango ganache filling. As usual, I tempered the chocolate without a thermometer or any special equipment, but the first time I attempted to make the chocolate shells for these I tried to cut corners and, well, it did not go well. Never cut corners when making chocolate, people. Anyway, I've included the fail so you can see what not to do and why. Remember, you can find the full recipe on my blog tashcakes.com along with the recipes to all the other dishes featured on this channel. Right, let's get started. So what we have here is my chocolate mould. I've also got 4 different colours of edible luster dust, which are metallic so they're nice and shiny. And I'm just going to set this white one aside because those are going to be the stars later. First, I'm going to mix these 3 colours, green, purple and blue, with a little bit of vodka until I get a paint consistency. Don't worry, you're not going to get hammered off of these chocolates. The vodka will evaporate completely. And because it evaporates away, you won't taste any alcohol either. If you're wondering why I'm painting my hands, I can't give you a good explanation for that. I thought, okay, maybe I'll test the consistency out on my hands first. Please don't. These things stain. They have food colouring in them, which I didn't really think through, and it took forever to get the colour out of my hands. Now we've got our edible shiny paints all mixed up and ready, it's time to paint the insides of the mould. You're going to want to work relatively quickly because the vodka actually evaporates quite fast, which is a good thing so you won't have to hang about too long for the moulds to dry. This first time I did stripes, but for my second attempt after my first chocolate fail I did swirls, and I think swirls look much better. This also works with silicone moulds, by the way. You don't have to get a hard mould, but I find that hard moulds give a shinier finish to the chocolate when they're set. If you find that your paints are drying up too fast, just add a little bit more vodka. And don't feel constrained by the colours, by the way. Use any colours you like. These were just the first ones I thought of because I wanted a bit of a galaxy, spacey kind of look. I kind of wish the purple was a deeper type of purple, to be honest. That's a problem when you buy things online, you can't really see them with your own eyes. But I don't think it turned out too badly in the end. Once you're done, you're just going to set it aside and let it dry completely. It will dry quite fast, but make sure it is totally dry before you put any chocolate in there. Now we're going to make the ganache. Take 100 grams of fresh mango puree. Make sure the mango is as ripe as possible, you want a good mango flavour. And then you want to simmer it down until it's about half quantity. Add 50 millilitres of double cream. Make sure you stir it nice and well. And then when that's well combined, add your chocolate. At this point you can turn down the heat because the remaining heat in the puree is going to melt that chocolate. And just give it a good old stir until it's all combined. Now you just want to spoon that hot ganache into a bowl and let it cool down to room temperature. The great thing about this ganache is it doesn't totally set, so when you bite into that chocolate you'll have a lovely gooey centre, but it does solidify just enough to have a good piping consistency, which is really useful. This makes a tiny bit more ganache than you're going to need, but this is beautiful melted over ice cream, so leftovers are a blessing. Right, so let's see my first attempt at making the chocolate shells, which was an utter failure, and I'll show you why. So first I started with 100 grams of chocolate, which is far too little. Technically, you probably need less than 100 grams to line the insides of the moulds, but you're going to need a lot more to actually fill them evenly. You'll see that in a minute. To temper the chocolate, you need to half melt whatever chocolate you have in there, which is correct. And then you take it off the heat, and then keep stirring, and then the residual heat will continue to melt that chocolate. You're doing this because when you melt chocolate, you're screwing up all of the cocoa butter crystals, which is what makes the chocolate set. So by introducing already set chocolate to melted chocolate, you're basically cooling it down so the cocoa butter has a chance to calm down, slow down and slowly reorganize the crystals so it sets back up again. And at this stage, as you temper it, will start to get thick because it's trying to set by itself, which is great. And what I usually do here is set it back over the heat to loosen up a bit more so I can pour it more easily. But I didn't do it this time because I thought, you know what, I'll cheat, I'll just go straight to pouring mode. Big mistake. Right, so I'm grabbing my mould, look at how lovely and shiny and colourful it is. And now I'm grabbing my chocolate, for which you'll see it's far too thick and far too little. Yep, you can see there's no way that's all getting in there. And it's such a mess, oh my gosh. So I've just cleaned that up and set it, and all I have to do is remelt these and start again. So you can see it tempered really well, which is great. I just didn't temper enough of it. So let's get these bad boys out and start again. So here I've melted and tempered chocolate where no more fresh chocolate will physically melt in it. I'm setting it back on the heat so it loosens back up again, and I have made double the amount, and that is much better. And look at how easily it's going in the moulds, woo! I also had to clean, repaint and dry the moulds again, which was a pain in the butt, but what can you do? Live and learn. Now you have to give it a good bash on the counter, make sure all the chocolate reaches every nook and cranny. And then tip it over, and then you need to give the mould itself a good wallop to get the excess chocolate out. And this is what's going to line the inside of that tempered chocolate. Oh, what a mess. Glorious. Right, now I'm just using a bench scraper to scrape off that excess chocolate. You can use a palette knife or a butter knife. You don't have to have a special bench scraper for it. This is one I use for bread. And I am going to repurpose all that leftover chocolate to seal the shells later. Waste not, want not. And I've just set those shells aside to set. They'll set quite easily at room temperature, but if it's a particularly hot day, feel free to pop them in the fridge. And you can see how well I've tempered my chocolate because it's already set, so unfortunately you are going to have to do the process again to remelt and retemper it. Right, now that your shells are nice and set, we're going to pipe in that ganache. Pipe it until you have a little bit of space at the top. It's better to underfill it at this stage because once you do the tap down you can always add a little bit more, but don't overfill it, otherwise you can't fit on the chocolate on top. Give it another little tap on the counter, that'll get rid of air bubbles and help level it off, and then you can see where you can add a little bit more where necessary. Give it another good tap if you've added any more, and now we're going to seal them. So we've remelted and retempered that leftover chocolate, and I'm just going to pipe it on top. You can do it more neatly here if you like, but I like to give it a final scrape to make sure the bottoms are really flat. So I'm going to take my bench scraper, and not before I give it another good tap. Really important, get it nice and even. Then scrapey scrapey. This is so satisfying. And you will still have a little bit of leftover chocolate, but you know what? Just set it and eat it later. And once you're done with clean up, just set these aside and let them set by themselves. Again, you can pop them in the fridge to help them along. Once they're set, it's time for the most fun part, and that is making the stars. So I'm mixing up some of that white luster dust with vodka. Now I'm going to give this mould a good bash and dislodge the chocolates. This should be quite easy. And of course, if you're using a silicone mould, you can just pop them out. This is so satisfying. If you're angry at anyone, just imagine they're the chocolates and you're giving them a good wallop. And now I'm going to take that paint, grab a clean toothbrush, and I'm going to use my finger to flick some paint on, and those are your tiny little stars. Isn't that neat? Make sure you cover every angle. You want every side to be coated with a nice spray of sparkly stars. And then they take literally seconds to dry, and then you're done. Look at how beautiful these are. Thanks for watching and or listening. I hope you enjoyed today's video and found something in it useful, and I hope you'll join me next Wednesday for my next one. Find the full written down recipe on tashcakes.com and find me on Instagram as tashcakestastes. Subscribe and hit that notification bell if you'd like to see more. Comment down below if you'd like me to make or talk about anything in particular, and I'll see you guys later. Stay safe, be nice, and have a good week.